So yesterday we covered the DNC convention, and we were outside with the people. And at least according to my estimation, there was about 3,000 people there, maybe 4,000, give or take. But I will say this: I was hoping for a larger crowd. Maybe my standards are too high. I know I said that on Due Dissident's Rumble stream. RBN was there, Jimmy Dore was there, but I was expecting, maybe more people to show up. And especially to those who are critical of the Democratic Party, you do have to show up. But I will say this, seeing the imagery from inside the United Center and what was happening outside, there were more people outside than inside the DNC convention. And just before the march started, I actually did a quick B-roll footage, and Daniel also did some B-roll footage as well, of the DNC convention, or not of the DNC convention, but of the protesters at Union Park here in the city of Chicago. And I want to pull this up here. This is what we took here. This is yesterday coverage before the march happened towards the DNC convention here in Chicago. So let's go ahead and pull this up here. Let's go ahead and play it.
USSouthKorea.org. And we have one last chant we want to teach you all. Repeat after me. As the war games leave our land, U.S. Saudis are demand. As the war games leave our land, U.S. Saudis are demand. Thank you. Students for a democratic society. The Denver organizing a divestment, genocide campaign, and a joint student organizations across the U.S. and the world to set up an encampment that lasted for 22 days. Give it up for Colin! Disclose, divest. We will not stop. We will not rest. Disclose, divest. We will not stop. We will not rest. Disclose.
So, walking through the crowds, we saw various people. And, this was, I have to say again, just my opinion, turnout should have been a little bit higher, but it was as good as it needed to be because it really set the point of how the Democrats really shot themselves in the foot. And to what I say to all the people who attended yesterday and all the people that will be protesting from today, tomorrow, and on the final day, Thursday, please be consistent. When I played that video segment of the epic fails from the speeches or from the speakers at the DNC convention, these are not serious people, these politicians. Did any one of them come outside to meet or talk to any of you? You think any one of them are going to want to speak to any of us? The answer is no, they're not. They're there to sheep herd you back to voting for Kamala. Kamala, who, again, is like any other politician, is at the beck and call of AIPAC.
Yes, we will not stop. We will not rest. My name is Arthur, and I am a student organizer in Denver, speaking for the National Students for a Democratic Society. I'm here today for the student movement. A violent rescue was conducted in Palestine and Colombia. This fire was carried to encampments all over the country. At the University of Minnesota, Just as an illustration, when students launched the first student intifada.
Now, I do have something else here, and this is actually interesting news that's not gaining a lot of attention. But here inside the United Center, some protesters or activists got inside. Now, I don't think they were associated with the main protesters outside, but the fact that these beautiful people snuck inside, or either that had tickets and had this planned, this is a video that I want to share with all of you. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. And I found this to be very fascinating. But audience members at the DNC convention in Chicago unfurl a banner that says, "Stop arming Israel." So let's go ahead and pull up this video here. It's only 25 seconds, but again, you'll notice that the sheep are following orders and do everything they can to destroy said banner.
Possibility.
While Joe Biden is speaking, by the way. Oh, look, there they all are, the sheep. We love Joe. Aw, look at those signs that they got there.
Fair. Impossibility. We're in the grip of a once-in-a-century pandemic. Historic joblessness. Calls for racial justice.
What are you doing up there, Mr. Man in a suit and tie? You don't like free speech?
Long overdue.
We love Joe. Ba 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 ba.
Impossibility. Fair. Impossibility. We're in the grip of a once-in-a-century pandemic. Historic joblessness. Calls for racial justice long overdue.
And they don't like it. Now, I want to pull up this article here. This is from, again, Common Dreams. I want to give a shout out to Julie Connolly. What's expected to be the biggest protest march during this week's Democratic National Convention kicked off in Chicago Monday afternoon, with demonstrators demanding that Vice President Kamala Harris support an end to unconditional U.S. military support for Israel amid its assault on Gaza. Now it's the 10th month, which I have to say, she ain't going to do that, guys. Did any representative from Kamala Harris's campaign team speak or talk to you guys? The answer is no. Thousands gathered in Union Park before beginning their march to the United Center, where the convention is taking place. Protesters gathered signs and banners reading, "End state violence from Chicago to Gaza. Democrats' silence equals Israel's violence." Very catchy tune there, by the way. Organizers, who hope to see 15,000 people in the streets, have expressed alarm in recent months over the Chicago Police Department's aggressive response to pro-Palestinian protests, with the Legal Coalition last week expressing concern about Police Superintendent Larry Snelling's intimidating comments about arresting protesters and other issues. And city officials have clashed with organizers about the route the march will take, which I have to say, the CPD was there. From what I saw, as much as I could see, even during the initial stages of people forming up, there was not a lot of harassment, but there was a large police force there, helicopters, police cruisers. Nothing like free speech than having the stormtroopers right there. Everyone march in line. But the threats of arrest did not deter groups, including Jewish Voices for Peace, from joining the march, with local chapter saying its members would make a clear commitment to freedom and safety for all people from Chicago to Gaza, as he demanded an arms embargo now. Organizers of the Uncommitted movement, which emerged during the Democratic primary season to pressure Joe Biden to end his support for Israel's assault on Gaza, continue to press the Harris-Walz campaign to break with the administration's position. They're not going to do that. No. They're not doing uncommitted. Listen, uncommitted. You got like what, 30 plus delegates, give or take, 28, between 30, whatever. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. They're not going to change. They're not, if the fact that no one showed up from the DNC on the first day to speak to the crowd, what does that tell you? While Harris initially indicated to the group a willingness to discuss support for an arms embargo earlier this month, a top advisor for the Democratic nominee said soon after that the vice president does not support ending weapons transfer to Israel. For Palestinian Americans, this is a fundamental issue. Socialist Iman al-Badhani told Democracy Now! At the march, "We spent 10 months watching our people die every day, and to ask us to simply just wait and hope that some change will happen is just offensive and completely insensitive." Now, this video right here did not take place at Union Park. This was in front of Trump Tower, to which I had to say to these protesters, stop doing that. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. I freaking get it. I get it. I get it. You know, protest in front of Trump Tower, a lot of names over there by Michigan Avenue, front and center. I get it. It's all about the optics. But Trump Tower is not a government freaking building, and Trump isn't president, at least not yet. Okay? Not to mention, it's all it is a place where people live. There's a hotel there. There's some restaurants there, whatever. Trump Tower should not be the end-all, be-all freaking location of everything. Now, the reason why I'm sounding angry is because I've covered it for 4 years, 2016 to 2020. Start in one spot, go to Trump Tower, that's it. Hey, you going to bring that action to, I don't know, a U.S. Senator or a House Representative's office here in Chicago in front of the City Hall? You know, you're going to bring that same fire and fury? Protesting in front of Trump Tower is like pissing in the wind. It's just stupid and it's a bad idea. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. Kid, how do you really feel about people protesting in front of Trump Tower? It was fine the first time. And I understand if Trump wins, if he gets reelected into office, I'll understand if people protest in front of it this time around. But for every single freaking issue, oh, let's go to Trump Tower. Anyways, let's hear what she has to say.
Palestinian Americans, this is a fundamental issue, and we have spent 10 months watching our people die every day. To ask us to simply come out and just wait and hope that some change will happen before the election, it's just offensive, and it's completely insensitive to where we are as a community.
Now, look. I also want to pull up another video here as well. Something that should enrage all of you. Something that should make all of you furious and angry. Because while the Democrats are having their convention, and of course, protesters, to everyone that was there at Union Park, all 3,000, 4,000 of you beautiful people, I want all of you to be made aware that the quote-unquote, I guess, progressives were also having their own convention. Let's play it. I know. I'm as shocked as you. Hey, Fox News, what happened?
DNC, Fox Business's Madison Allworth joins us live there from the convention where there is unity, but of course, underneath the surface, there is some divide amongst the progressives. Madison, what do you know?
All right, so Taylor, the DNC starts today, but progressives got a jump start on the convention with their messaging yesterday, hosting a 2-day event outside of the DNC in order to propel their
outside the DNC, not inside, outside. And I talked about this last week. You know, Bernie Sanders was hosting his own event. Hey, you think Bernie or anyone else that was there speaking showed up to those protests to talk to the people? You think Bernie was going to do that? And no bueno.
Their ideas and get them in front of the party. That event being called the Progressive Central 2024. Now, in this event, we
had Bernie, the Nutless Wonder, row your boat, Rokana, and Pramila Jayapal, who gets things done. Let's get busy. You think these three stooges spoke yesterday? No.
We had speakers like Senator Bernie Sanders, Rep. Rokana, and Rep. Jayapal. Policies that are discussed include Medicare for all, price controls, and fighting, quote, structural racism. This comes on the heels of Vice President Kamala Harris's economic policy speech on Friday, in which the nominee laid out her plans for price controls for everything from healthcare to food and housing. Now, that policy proposal appears to be a nod to the progressive wing of the party, and some high-profile Democrats were more, let's say, subdued in their support of that policy. When asked if the price controls were, quote, smart policy, Governor Gretchen Whitmer told NBC News the idea was worth having conversations. Progressives on the street are also making their voices heard. Tens of thousands.
Wait. Big difference to the people marching to that Bernie Sanders event. Okay, because I didn't see that Nutless Wonder speak to anyone yesterday.
Thousands of people are protesting the war in Gaza, calling out Kamala Harris for her role in the conflict, labeling her Killer Kamala, and using
okay, now that's actually pretty funny.
Anti-Semitic language that calls for the end.
That's not anti. God damn it, Fox News. There are moments I look at you and I just wonder what's wrong with you.
of Israel, protesters threatening to hold their vote with hopes to persuade Harris to be outwardly more progressive. But they cannot prevent Harris from being the nominee because she already is. Harris and Walz were voted in virtually as the top of the ticket earlier this month. So they're already locked in. A lot of what we're seeing here is ceremonial, and that's why you're going to see that united front as they try to push through this convention straight to the election in November.
Yeah, good luck, Democrats. Good luck, because there is anger. And as the days continue on, it's clear to me, as it should be clear to all of you, that we, as voters, don't owe the Democrats a single thing. These protesters out there, all of you have the right to speak. All of you have the right to protest. But I want all of you to be well aware that no matter what you say on social media, what you say to the cameras, or what you say to a diehard vote blue, no matter who liberal, unfortunately and regrettably, they're not going to listen to you. And they're going to try and bully you to get your vote. They did this in 2020 for Joe Biden. We saw how the vote blue, no matter who crowd was out there. But look inside the United Center. There were more people outside than inside the United Center. There were more people outside than at that jag-off Bernie Sanders event. We don't need fake progressives supporting the Democratic Party. We don't need the Democrats. We don't need the Republican Party. We don't need the two-party system. We don't need them. We don't need them. We don't need them. We do not need them. Did you see Bernie Sanders speak to us? No. Ro Khanna? No. AOC? No. Pramila Jayapal? No. Bernie Sanders had his own little event, and AOC there speaking at the DNC. Her transformation's almost complete. Mama Bear would be proud. You have the right to withhold your vote. Hell, you have the right not to vote. Hell, you have the right to vote third party or independent. But to these protesters out there, you don't owe the Democrats anything. Break away from the two-party system. You have to do it now, or otherwise there will be no hope. We don't owe them anything. They didn't show up for us, so we have a right not to show up for them, as we should.
If you fool me once, it's because I didn't think a guard was needed. If you fool me twice, it's because I didn't learn the lesson, so it bears repeating. If you try the same play 3 times running, it's because you know what's coming, and you didn't come to lead, you came to purposefully be misleading. Democracy is dry. It's been a century bleeding. The husk is gaping open to the sky, out in the field where all the sheep just keep on circling and worrying and bleeding. They're waiting for the shepherd that they've tried to hide their faith in, but he's so appealing. They'd gladly give their fleece. It's such a freeing feeling that even when he leads them to the ledge and starts to urge them on, they're positively beaming. They were told that they were on their way to save democracy, so even as they plummet, they just gloat. They don't consider screaming. And halfway up the cliff, the shepherd's cozy little mittens wrap around the staff of shattered human hopes on which he's leaning. He shows the gentle grin that used to stir your inner spark, and he says, "Not me, us," as he gestures to the oligarchs. He knows that if he runs, they're going to stop him like a stolen car. And he'll easily surrender because it bought a lot of time for laying mines in all the grassroots. Suddenly, the tiniest of movements gets you blown apart. Suddenly, you're in a play that's set on an election day and voting for the fire, unaware you're playing Joan of Arc. Suddenly, the shepherd pulls the rug and slips a hood across your clueless mug, and everything goes zero dark. I'm gonna warn you once more before it's 2024 and you fuck around and find out who your heroes are. To take a step back from the herd, and you'll learn that you can spot who all the shearers are. If you really want to know the product that they're selling, I can take you where the mirrors are. If you think your voice is finally ready, I can tell you where the lyrics are. I hid them in a box I had to bury neath the cobble when they carpet bombed the promenade and raided all the street bazaars. Now all we've got's the marketplace, and you're too broke to even bother asking what the options for your treatment are. Suddenly, the raw debris of homeless human dignity will find it has 100 teeth for every badge and sweeper's arm. Suddenly, they speak in solidarity and each is armed. Suddenly, the sheep can see the shepherd for his truest form and all pitch in at once to help him buy the farm. And now it's zero dark, and all is calm and peaceful save the distant wail of sirens that approach beside the flames of dawn. Suddenly, the carrot's just a string that's on a stick, and all your movements make you sick because the prize is gone. Now, we could go and flee into the forest low and meek, or we can exercise our right to feast and go and graze on Biden's lawn. Because he's been sowing seeds that seep a toxin out to sap a bit from each of us and keep on leeching decades after Biden's gone. So regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. But in that time of hopelessness, you cannot trust the shepherd when he once again comes asking you to humor him his siren song. And it's cute that you can innocently, honestly assume that's just a symptom of a system that was wired wrong, and not the standard feature, basic function, primary objective of a mass hypnosis firebomb. You don't need to know the words to cry along. Someday it'll hit you like an officer who pistol whipped their ride-along. Broke his jaw and kept his job and kept it moving right along. That voting isn't red or blue or black or white or right or wrong. Voting's like a firing squad where you can choose the firearm. It's slow extinction by and large. It's Super Tuesday supercharged. It's all your futures, roots and all, just tossed out on a garbage barge. It's everybody dropping out to push the biggest oligarch. It's everybody voting fire, registered as Joan of Arc.